in the moonlight.
It was a cool and crisp night. In Epping Forest, the stagecoach moved amongst the shadows of a full moon, which gave the forest a magical glow for what Mary Gregory, a passenger of the coach, brother the magistrate, Sir Thomas Gregory, thought it felt less magical and more eerie and dangerous. He saw highwaymen and footpads in every shadow. The driver was also nervous, as highwaymen were known to work these woods. Suddenly a man with gleaming guns on a white horse rode out of the shadows into the moonlight. He was handsome and well dressed. The nervous driver sped up the coach. The horseman followed at a faster pace. "Stop or I'll shoot," he shouted. Firing his pistol, he winged the driver. He knew the next shot might kill him. He slowed and stopped the coach. The rider pulled up to them and dismounted. "Stand and deliver your money or your life," shouted the highwayman. Mary and her brother climbed out of the coach. "Ah, good evening, my lady, and Sir Thomas Gregory. It is a lovely evening, is it not?" said the highwayman, as he kissed Mary's hand. "Oh, yes, it is," responded Mary, enchanted by the moonlight and his gallantry. "No, it is not. I would rather have missed this meeting, Faulkner," said the magistrate, recognizing him from wanted posters. "Faulkner? Not Gentleman John Faulkner?" asked Mary. "Guilty," said the highwayman, smiling behind his mask. "Your goods, please, Sir Thomas?" asked Faulkner, pointing the gun at the magistrate. Mary offered up her jewellery. "No, keep your things, my lady," said Faulkner, giving her jewellery back. Brother reluctantly handed over his purse of money. The highwayman next turned to the driver, whose arm was bleeding badly, and, holding out his hand, "4 more," John said. "Now, sir, you shall get your arm looked at. It looks quite bad." The driver handed over his valuables. The highwayman sent them on their way, Sir Thomas driving, the driver inside the coach being tended by Mary. 2 nights later. The weather warmer. A new highwayman was on the road. For the first time it seemed to be a youth in a black outfit, who was enjoying the thrill of riding through the night. It was the first outing for this new highwayman, the highwayman who nearly held up a coach. But somebody beat this would-be highwayman to it. So turning the horse and heading home was all that could be done. The next morning the Gregory home had a visitor. Mary was very excited to meet this famous man she had never met before. He was a friend of her brother's, a famous and popular actor who was playing a highwayman on stage in London. He was a tall, handsome man. From the moment Mary saw him, she knew she could easily love this man. His name was Sir Justin Beaufort. "Hello, my lady," said the actor. "I hear you met a real highwayman the other day. I wish I had been with you. They are so thrilling and romantic." "Yes, they are," agreed Mary. "No, they are dangerous mercenaries. The driver of the coach died from the wound he got from the highwayman. Did you forget that?" asked Sir Thomas. Sir Justin looked chastened and nervous. Did he have a family? Asked Sir Justin. Wasn't likely. And they'll hang for it, and now he's killed someone? Mr. Thomas. He won't hang. It was an accident, said Mary. He shot a man. He should have realized there was a chance the man would die, said Sir Thomas. If they get him, they will hang him. I'm sure of that, said Sir Justin sadly. Later, Mary was riding in a coach with Sir Justin, and she heard, "Stand and deliver your money or your life," the voice yelled. When the coach stopped, out of the coach, to see the driver being murdered with a single shot to the heart, for no other reason than he didn't stop quick enough. She was now nervous. This was the feared killer highwayman, Terence the Terror of Essex. Hand over your loot. Either give it to me now or I'll take it off your body. Terence the Terror said to her. Out of the coach stepped an angry Sir Justin. That's enough, Terry. Give it all back, said Sir Justin. This startled the Terror, who was confused. Justin walked over and disarmed him and pointed the Terror's own gun at him. I say give it back, Terry, said Justin. Don't call him Terry. People say he doesn't like that. This isn't the theatre. He'll kill you, said Mary nervously. You have to wait in line, said Sir Justin with a smile. Sir Justin, you are annoying me. Nobody robs me, not even my friends. You will pay for this. Stand down and I will forget it, said Terence the Terror. Stand and deliver, Terry, said Sir Justin. He's drunk. Ignore him, Mr. Terror, said Mary. He's stone cold sober and stubborn, said the highwayman. Terence the Terror handed back the loot, but he was fuming. Sir Justin shot in the air to disarm the gun. Here you are, my friend. Have your property, and let us go on our way, and said, You are not my friend. Terror, stomping over to his horse. Something? I think I have lost a friend, said Sir Justin sadly as he drove the coach off. You are insane, shouted back Mary from inside the coach. Later that day, at the Gregory home, Tom, your friend is a nut, Mary said, when they arrived with the body of the driver. What did he do? Murder the driver so he could drive the coach? Asked Sir Thomas. Sir Justin laughed. No, that was the Terror, said Sir Justin. He killed the driver so you could drive it? Said Sir Thomas. Are you insane? Asked Sir Justin. No, said Sir Thomas. The Terror held us up. He shot the driver, then I held up the Terror, said Sir Justin. You did what? Asked Sir Thomas. I bailed up the Terror and took your sister's stuff back. as she was under my care, said Sir Justin. Thank you. Did you take him in? Asked Sir Thomas. No, I let him go, said Sir Justin. Why did you do that? Asked Sir Thomas. Someone had to drive the coach. I could not be sure of Mary's safety if I kept him, replied Sir Justin. You know he'll now try kill you, said Sir Thomas. If he does, he does. I could never live with myself. He robbed someone under my care, replied Sir Justin. That night the youthful highwayman rode again. This time he stopped the coach and started to rob people when 3 highwaymen arrived on the scene. New to this, are you, lad? Said one of them. The youth panicked and fell off the horse and banged his head hard and was knocked out by the fall. Terry, I think you killed him, said one of the others. He was the black-clad highwayman, named the Ghost for his sudden appearances and disappearances. Ghost the boys knocked out, not dead, said Gentleman John, who was riding with them. Terry just scared them, said John. We can't just leave them here. What will we do? Asked the highwayman the Ghost. A Robin Hood type highwayman. They completed the robbery. John picked up the body and hung it over his horse. The Ghost took the horse of the young highwayman, and they rode to Gentleman John's house. I'll look after him till he comes around, offered John. The odd band of highwaymen sat drinking and chatting for a few hours, and the Terror and the Ghost left. When they had gone, John made a strange discovery. The boy had long hair in a bun, and his hat had been pinned to it. He found out this when he tried to remove the hat so he could put the lad to rest on his bed. He put her to bed and sat looking at a script for a new play. He sat drinking for a while. Later the highwaywoman woke up. It was like a play with a ham actor. Where am I? She muttered. Putting down the script, he walked over to her. How are you feeling, miss? Asked John. Miss? Said the highwayman, not sure how he knew what she was, or where she was. She felt for her mask. It was there. I saw your hair. If I knew you were a woman, my friend would have stayed, said John. Why? She asked. For your honour, said John. Whoever said there was no honour among thieves? Oh yes, said the highwaywoman. Nothing happened, but I'll marry you to keep your honour, said John. The highwaywoman stood up, still a bit wonky. She thought she was dreaming. He was a man of honour, and she loved him, and she was so happy. She started to take off her mask. He stopped her. No, don't, said John. We aren't safe. Seeing each other's faces may cause us problems. All right, then, she said. Stop trying to unmask. In the early morning she said goodbye and left for home. A few hours later, Mary was sitting in the forest near her home, enjoying the new autumn day. Sir Justin saw her on the way to visit her brother. He got off his horse and tied it to a branch of a small tree and walked over to her. "What are you doing, my lady?" asked Sir Justin, thinking she looked very pretty. Sitting amongst the autumn leaves, she blushed. "It is a furial year today," said Mary, looking at Sir Justin, who looked more handsome than ever. "It's a glorious day," said Sir Justin, not lying. "Are you all right?" "Yes. Come sit beside me," said Mary. "Why?" asked Sir Justin. "The view is best from here," said Mary. "As long as no one's around," said Sir Justin, with a smile. She said, "No one's here." Sir Justin sat beside her. "What are we looking at?" asked Sir Justin. "Everything. The wind is singing in the trees, blowing leaves through the air. They fall to the ground. The birds are singing in the forest floor, covered in crisp leaves. Thick as snow," said Mary, forgetting propriety and everything. He lay on his back in the leaves. "I have never seen anything so beautiful. I could forget everything and live here in this moment forever." Then, looking up at the sky, he said, "This looks better." Mary lay back too. She watched the leaves fall from the trees, blowing in the wind. A leaf fell down, floating on her heart. She put her hand on it. A voice interrupted the scene. "There you are, Mary. Have you been with him all night? Everyone's been looking for you." "You, Sir Thomas." "No," Sir Justin said, standing. "I just found her here. I was on my way to see you." Mary, trying to stand up, fell over her long skirt. "I was not with him," said Mary. Sir Justin thought he could see a forced marriage wedding being set up. "I can't marry her," said Sir Justin. "Why?" asked Sir Thomas. "I can't say." Sir Justin. "No excuses. That means you must marry her for your honour and hers," said Sir Thomas. "Don't use my honour against me," said Sir Justin. "You must marry her as you are driven by your honour," Sir Thomas said. Sir Justin shook his head, jumped up on his horse, and rode away. The following weeks the highwayman and highwaywoman became inseparable. They took to the road most nights. They planned to run away and marry after one last job. It all went wrong. There was an unexpected ambush. They were on their horses when they demanded passengers disembark the coach. They didn't notice the gun pointed from the coach until it was too late. But when they did, they rode away. It was Sir Thomas who shot one of them. John could have escaped, but he jumped off his running horse, which continued on its way. He ran back to his fiancée, the highwaywoman. "You shot her," said John accusingly, kneeling down, cradling her and looking in her face. "Why didn't you escape?" asked the dying highwaywoman. "I don't want to live without you," said John. "I have two of them." "I shall unmask them," said Sir Thomas, unmasking John. His eyes widened and looked horrified. "Hey!" said Sir Justin. "You are engaged to my sister. Who is this harlot?" asked Sir Thomas, ripping off her mask, looking devastated. "Mary! No!" cried Sir Thomas. "Mary and I have a fiancé," said John. "My love," said Mary, and died. John kissed her for the first and last time. A few weeks later, John joined her in death. As John was standing on the gallows at Tyburn, Sir Thomas watched the noose go round John's neck. Sir Thomas was sad. He knew he'd miss John and Justin. The executioner reached for the lever, called the trap door. Then the magistrate closed his eyes. He saw Mary and John lying in the leaves in the forest, and heard John saying, "I have never seen anything so beautiful. I could forget everything and live in this moment forever." Shadows in the daylight. The highwayman sat atop his great war-horse as he told passengers to alight from their coach to Loughton from London. He was strong and handsome and utterly madly fashionable. All women loved him, and the men were either jealous of his fascinating all women there, or else wanted to be him, but totally hated him. So was the case with Isabel Constance and the man who virtually worshipped her. But she was in love with the romantic highwayman, the Viscount of Essex, John Faulkner, the perfect gallant gentleman highwayman. Beside him, his constant companion on the road, a escape artist who disappeared into the shadows of the night in the lonely forest road to Newmarket. The companion was a Robin Hood, who robbed only those who could afford to lose a little money, which he gave to an obliging churchman who promised he would give it to the poor in his parish. "Lieutenant Faulkner and the ghost, this is my lucky day," Isabella sang in her joy to the man who loved her, but she couldn't love, let alone see. "I can't see why we should be happy to be robbed," Stephen Grimshaw said irritably in reply. He was angry and wanted to protect her and his money and a poem he wrote secretly to her, anonymously, as he had many times before. She knew she had a secret admirer, but not his name. He was called Silver Star. He was a poet, in love with her. "What light from yonder window breaks? It is Juliet," said Faulkner, charmingly, seeing her. "Ham is not your style, Jack," the ghost scolded. "Right you are, Drew. Pray excuse me, my dear lady. I was dazzled by your eyes. They are like two twinkling silver stars." "Was I out of line?" Jack said contritely. "Here is my money and ring. Everyone gives them your money and stuff, and they'll let us go," said Grimshaw sharply. as he glared at Jack. "Yes," said the ghost. "Oh, yes," said Jack. They gave the awkward highwayman what they wanted, and they forgot to speak. "Bye then," said Grimshaw. "You can go, adieu," the ghost said with a strangely French accent, and not his usual local Essex accent he was noted for. When the coach was gone, the highwaymen tore off their own masks. "Justin, what was that about? What light from yonder window breaks? Your eyes are like two silver stars," shouted the ghost. "She's a friend of mine. You know she hates me as much as I hate her. If I said, 'Isabel, give me your money,' I would be giving myself away." "And what about you, the French ghost?" "I forgot who I was. I knew the man with her. He's a friend of mine, Stephen Grimshaw. He's a minor poet, and he's in love with the girl. He's been sending her love letters, from what I've found out from being his go-between. He uses a nom de plume silver star. He's fallen in love with her admirer. Now, if I'm not mistaken, she thinks you are him." "This won't make Grimshaw happy at all," the ghost said. "He's not happy. How do you think I am, engaged to 2 women already? Why not go for the trifecta? Have more people wanting to see me dancing on the stage at Tyburn." "Yes, and it will be easy. My home. And she is too. They will be at my party," said the Earl. "Oh, we can use that," said Jack. "How, Justin?" asked the Earl. "By making her hate me and love him," said Jack. "Tell her who you are," joked the ghost. "Very funny. It won't work," Jack said. "She'd lynch me." "Fine, I'll supply the tree. The oak out the front of my place would be perfect. And I'll buy her a nice strong rope," joked the ghost. "Who are you two planning to hang?" A soldier who they didn't see arrive said. "Can I help you?" "Hello, Terry. We don't want anyone dead. I was only joking. Let's go home," the Earl said to his friends who lived in his house as guests with the run of the house. They were the Earl's maternal cousin and the youngest son of another Earl, whose wife, his mother, and his twin brother had died when he was born, and was taken in by Jack's family, although she had the blood of the Earl of Essex, and was the aunt of the present orphaned Earl of Essex, and was his guardian. She raised him when he was in hiding as Andrew Fletcher, a blacksmith's apprentice. His master's daughter was the Earl's fiancée. "Your ladyship is well, I hope," said Lord Essex, when Isabella and Grimshaw entered the sitting-room. His library of books and oddments, with many wraps, old weapons and comfy chairs, and a well-used desk made of metalwork, made by the Earl himself, as a secret but famed blacksmith. As David Buckingham. "We were held up by a highwayman," said Grimshaw. "Was anything stolen?" asked Jack, with an air of concern. Of course, he knew he'd stolen the poor girl's heart. Yes, they were highwaymen. I said they robbed us, didn't I? In a roundabout way, Grimshaw said. He's thick, as well as heartless. He's the most annoying actor on any stage in London. Ignore him, he's a bore, said Isabella. Do you have a name, sir? Asked Grimshaw. I'm an actor, I have many, said Jack. Jack? Snapped the Earl. When you were good, you were very, very good. When you were bad, you were horrid. Jack, are you a highwayman? Asked Grimshaw. Sure he was talking to his rival, the Viscount. But why would the Earl of Essex? Only at certain times, said Jack. Not permanently. What are you on? John Faulkner, Viscount of Essex, Grimshaw said. Pardon me? Oh, yes, and he's the ghost, Jack said. What, you admit it? Why did his lordship take to the road? Said Grimshaw. Take to the road? Oh, I didn't take to the road, neither did he. We leave that to my real cousin Jack. The man is Sir Justin Beaufort. He took to the London stage in the theatre in a play about Jack and his friends. I play the ghost in it. Sir Justin plays Jack. So I called him Jack. Nothing more. I used his stage name to keep him quiet, said the Earl. There's nothing sinister there. Only that horse of mine in it is the only strange thing, and the script isn't too well written either, said Jack. Thanks, Jack. You know you have the playwright here, said Terry. I know, I want a real horse, and a good script. I could ad-lib better lines, so could the cast. Why is the ghost the only one who had a script? Jack complained. I memorized them before I rehearsed the play, the Earl said. And I only ad-lib in emergencies. You know that, Jack. There's always an emergency, protested Jack. You usually cause it. Don't fight. We have guests, Terry said. Afraid someone might say something that all may regret. Like all three of them were real highwaymen, and then he'd have to kill these people who he held as friends. Terry hated being the bad guy, who everyone saw as pure evil or insane. He was just as twitchy as the ghost, who was jumpy and too quick to act at times. But the ghost didn't kill, and the ghost wasn't short-tempered. Nor had he the feeling he was the one who had to do the killing. If it had to be done, it was expected of Terry, not them. Terry could only hang once if he was caught. Jack too, as he had winged a man who died of his wounds. The ghost may not hang. He may be deported or spend some time in prison. He hadn't done anything more than highway robbery. Oh yes, said the Earl, looking at Grimshaw's sad face as he looked at Isabella. We met the real gentleman Jack and his friend the ghost, said Isabella, gushing. Terry smiled and said, What were they like? Wondering how his friend's lone expedition went. Gentleman Jack is the most charming man I have ever met.
Terry looked at Justin like he had a private joke. Justin squirmed. "Are you all right, Sir Justin?" asked Grimshaw. "Just feeling a little ill. My dinner didn't agree with me," said Justin, lying. He felt nervous. A man walked up to them with a woman. "Hello, Sir Justin," said the man. "Hello, Gregory," said Justin. "I haven't met your friends," said Isabella. "Oh, they are Sir Thomas Gregory and his sister, Mary, another fan of Gentleman Jack," said Justin. "She's his fiancée," said Sir Thomas. "Gentleman Jack?" said Isabella, looking sad to hear he was engaged. Both Mary and Justin looked awkward. Justin knew he was Jack. He didn't know Mary was his other secret fiancée as Jack. Mary didn't know Justin was Jack. "No, she is Sir Justin's fiancée," Thomas said. Isabella brightened up, knowing she wasn't Jack's fiancée. "I am very happy for you," Isabella said. Happy. It was Justin, not Jack. "He's a nut," said Mary disapprovingly. "Who?" asked Grimshaw. "Sir Justin. He held up Terence the Terror of Essex." "The highwayman," said Mary. Justin looked nervous. Terry slapped Justin on the back, near knocking him over. "Friend Justin is a terror," said Terry, who was secretly the terror. "Sir Justin showed his colours, did he?" said Isabella. "I was protecting Miss Gregory," said Justin awkwardly. "She is not grateful," said Grimshaw. "The terror wants him dead." "It was very foolish," said Mary, not knowing Jack was Justin and the terror was his friend Terry. But had she known, things would have been easier for all of them. "I think the terror can forgive him for protecting a young lady," said Terry. "He was startled by someone giving him some of his own treatment, no doubt," laughed Terry. "No, he risked our lives on a stupid whim," Mary said. "Sad he'd risked the life of the woman he loved." "I knew he was a heartless man," said Isabella. "Who said?" "I loved her," said Justin coldly. It was a shotgun marriage. Mary and Justin didn't want to marry. Jack and his secret fiancée loved each other deeply. Their love would be their death. "Knew he was a cad. He marries her for her money," said Isabella. "No, for honour," said Sir Thomas. "For a mistake, not honour," said Mary. "Mistake?" "May I ask what it was?" Isabella said. "I got lost in the forest one night and he found me. My brother found us and jumped to the wrong idea. He ganged us up into marrying. He's the last man on earth I would take for a husband," Mary said. "Oh, poor girl," said Grimshaw. "A lady must be careful of her honour," said Isabella. "And her family," said Sir Thomas. "And her friends," said Sir Justin sadly. Later, on the road, a new highwayman chased down a lone rider. "Stand and deliver," shouted the new highwayman. I could say the same thing myself, said the ghost, stopping, pulling his gun on the new highwayman. What? Said the new highwayman, stopping. Drop your gun. We only want to talk, a voice behind the highwayman said. Sir Justin? Grimshaw said, recognising the voice. No, said Sir Justin, who was clad as Faulkner. You can't lie to me, said Grimshaw. I can if I like, laughed Sir Justin. We are here to help you, said the Earl, unmasking. Essex? Said Grimshaw, recognising him. I'm sorry, I didn't recognise you. I know, we caught you, said the Earl. Why? Asked Grimshaw. To help you with your problem, said Sir Justin. What problem? Asked Grimshaw. Isabella, said Sir Justin. How she likes you, said Grimshaw. No, I don't need another fiancée. I have two already, said Sir Justin. You cad, said Grimshaw. You know, I don't love Mary, said Sir Justin. Oh, her, said Grimshaw. I don't love her either. No, we want to play Cupid with Isabella, said the Earl. Thank you, how? She's in love with him, said Grimshaw, pointing at Sir Justin. She's in love with an image of a romantic highwayman. Not me, said Sir Justin. You are the romantic highwayman she loves, Grimshaw said. She thought I was you, said Sir Justin. Why would you say that? Asked Grimshaw. I compared her eyes to silver stars, said Sir Justin. You told him, said Grimshaw. Only after he made a fool of himself, said the Earl. You are taking to the highway. Surprisingly well, Sir Justin said. I recognised your voices from when you held us up, and you bear a striking family resemblance, said Grimshaw. Do we? Said the dark-eyed Earl, seeing a jawline in both himself and his cousin. They remasked and rode off to talk more. Days later, Isabella and Grimshaw were riding in a coach to London from Newmarket when they were held up by two highwaymen. Stand and deliver, called the ghost as the passengers alighted. Hello, said Isabella, excited seeing Faulkner again, putting her hand out for a kiss. Faulkner ignored her. She was annoyed. It made him happy. The ghost robbed her, ignoring her too. Isabella, they are robbers. They don't care for you. All they care for is your jewels, said Grimshaw. True, said Faulkner. They are beauties, your jewels. Isabella was horrified. You heartless beasts, shouted Isabella, hitting Faulkner, to everyone's surprise. Grimshaw, in the distraction, pulled out a gun and aimed it at his former rival. Isabella, leave him alone. He's not worth it, Grimshaw said. He is not, said Isabella. Give back our stuff and let us go on our way, said Grimshaw. Okay, the ghost said, handing back the stuff he took. Faulkner reluctantly handing back the stuff he took. Now, Let us go, said Grimshaw. They did. The coach drove off. Up to them rode the Terror and Mary as highwaymen on horses. You did good, said Mary. Isabella looked at Mr. Grimshaw as a hero. I told him to tell her he was her poet beau later. Now she sees him as he is. She'll like him more, said the ghost. I also told him to keep off the road. As a highwayman, it's not safe. Too many dangerous folk about, and dangers in the occupation. You looked like a right pair of cads, said Terry. I hope this doesn't ruin my reputation, said Faulkner. They all laughed.